Hi, this is Mia. This is Thursday. I thought yesterday was Thursday. I don't know what happened. I had the 700 Club on. I used to watch it like once every 5 years, maybe. How do I get rid of it? And what happened was, oh my god. So they're agreeing with the president on we need to get this country back to work, and I'm disagreeing that when things settle down, then go back to work and figure something out. I don't even know how to figure it out. Okay, my opinion is I feel like this virus is going to get really bad. And I do this, I don't even know if it's backwards. Because what I see is this is like Florida to me. Since I have such short pinkies, this is Washington State, Oregon, California. Then you got Nevada, you have New York, you have Michigan up here. It's not that big, but it's big. So what I'm seeing in my mind is you have New York, you have the city and state of New York, you have Louisiana, you have Illinois, Michigan, Washington. What was the other big one? So you have all these metro areas getting the coronavirus, and people are either saying that we have plenty of supplies, plenty of PPE, plenty of ventilators, or we're running out in 2 days, or we have nothing, or blah, 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 blah. So, what happens when the cities, and sorry if it's supposed to be like this, because sometimes my videos are mirror image, probably, I don't know, I see it like that. So, what happens if this city and Detroit and places in Ohio and Louisiana and Florida where people were vacationing, and what happens when the cities get a whole lot of cases and it skyrockets and it's, oh my gosh, we have 3 refrigerator trucks in New York City and this and this and this and this. And Seattle did something, I don't know what, to stop this, because since they were like the first place to have a case that confirmed case, who knows, it could have already been going through New York. A lot of people thought they were sick in November, December, and I got sick. I don't even remember much. I had like an elevated temperature, and I can't remember. I might have journaled it. My concern is, so you have big cities like New York City, you have Los Angeles, you have Chicago, and then what about smaller cities like Dayton, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Portland, Oregon? There's some smaller cities and some bigger cities in Texas, and you have all these coastal towns where people, we're finding where I am right now over here, people are coming from the city, they're coming from California. You see the license plates. All the rental houses near our friend's house are all booked up as of about a month ago, right before they closed the restaurants here. I think when they started closing the stores and changing stuff with the entire state of Maryland, the rental houses got full. And I don't know if that was rental like Airbnb or that's their summer vacation house or their family house. There's people, unfortunately, like the Kennedy family, unfortunately, they were on the Chesapeake Bay right up the street here, and those two members perished at the mother's house. So those family lake houses, or lake bay slash, I haven't seen any lakes. I don't, have I? It's hard, I feel like everything's connected. Okay. Rivers, bays, waterfront properties, oceanfront properties. Since they've banned hotels and short-term rentals. Short-term rentals first, I think, are like being Airbnbs, I think, and then hotels and motels. There's people that live in motels, so they were saying short-term rentals had to be closed down unless you're a healthcare provider. I don't remember. I don't know if they even had other freaking, like, what about airline people. Those people like travel and maybe they don't even have a house and they just stay in hotels like all the time. Like I'm just wondering, there's got to be people, truck drivers you see sometimes at Motel 6. Like there's got to be other people besides healthcare providers. I don't know if that's a state or my county, but I can't imagine thinking that you need to get like you're in the process of moving, start a new job, or you're trying to be around your kid because they're having a baby and they're decided to do a home birth. And imagine being across the country and every place is different. My hair is like so dry right now. Every place is different, so it's like it's kind of hard to think that they would cancel all regular reservations. What if you had planned it out and you could drive from one place to the next like say I'm going to Maryland to Portland, which I was going to do. Everything's different. I don't know, I'm sorry. The hotels here is one thing. People live in hotels week to week. Sometimes people have to move different hotels based on wait lists and stuff, Airbnbs, and then trying to go across to the campgrounds are even closed. So how like you would have to literally like drive and go sleep in your car everywhere. Somebody said that they were going to somebody local on Facebook Marketplace said they're going to a farm and their friend's farm, and they usually rent their house out. The house is usually occupied. There's an apartment in the house that somebody's renting, and that they're going to it was an Airbnb home, which I think, how the heck were they occupied in the house unless they were just like leased a bedroom, which I guess you could do, lease a bedroom and live in the house and share the kitchen and then share the laundry with the other tenant. So then they're like, we're going out of town until summer, or for the summer we need long term, this is primarily an Airbnb, but we need long term tenants, not like 90 days. So whatever, probably the state rule, you can't have someone stay here for 50 or 15 days or 5 days. It had to be like a short-term lease. So I found that very interesting. There's a lot of stuff that I had. I only could qualify for like $1,000, which is the minimum amount of loan. I don't even know if I did my loan application right through a bank. It was like $1,000 minimum, but I don't know. I thought on the 8th there's sole proprietors and LLCs, or sole member LLCs and contractors, independent contractors, 1099 miscellaneous, and then I was confused about if that was I thought it was the 8th, and then I see something about the 10th, and today's the 9th. I just did something and they're like they want to prove payroll, but what if you have an LLC and you're sole proprietor LLC and they're not clarifying that? And yesterday I did some math and I thought I had did it for Lindio and it said $1,000, or if I got $550 a month, which is not that much. So you can have payroll times 2.5, I think. And then I thought it said plus something else. I thought it was plus that $10,000 that you could get to pay payroll that you don't have to pay back if you don't get approved for the loan. So I'm not making much money. I didn't make much money at all last year. Only made like 1,000 something gross the first year, 3,000 something the second year, 21,000 something the third year, and then like 600 the next year gross. Like that's really bad. So I have to work, sell stuff. It's like I can show how much from my 2018 tax return, but they want your 2019. So I had to figure something out with that, and I wasn't able. So I went to a bank online yesterday. I had done all these classes about paycheck protection programs. I had done all these classes, and then they were basically like, well, like, they want this information again. Sole proprietor, single member, LLC. That's and all of my money comes from contract, being an independent contractor. So I feel like I probably should have done it tomorrow. I hope they fix it. I don't want to get in any trouble. I went to one bank. I went to Wells Fargo Bank yesterday. It said it was full. So I've been taking all these webinars about the situation, and the webinars are I mean they're like, this is compare the plans and who qualifies and who used to qualify and this and that, and talk about unemployment and who do you have, if you have payroll employees, full-time employees, blah blah blah, but it doesn't count if you have 1099. And like, then I see different information. I was like, wait, am I receiving 1099? I am a owner, because it's like I am in healthcare, so the 1099 comes from an insurance company, so I'm basically like an independent contractor under them. It's so confusing, right? But I keep taking these classes and they didn't have anywhere to put like that you wanted to oh, I just scratched my eyeball. That you wanted to I don't know which website to go on. And I applied for stuff on the SBA website. I'm not getting any response. Some of the stuff I thought was supposed to be within three days, 3 business days. I'm not getting anything. I got one that said, we changed the application, please reapply. And I reapplied, and I thought I did it. I have 3 businesses plus the sole proprietor. And I was like, I don't want to borrow money. I want to grant. I want to keep my business open so I can set up to do what I need to do. And what's hard is you work for somebody else and have a home business that doesn't do that well. The more jobs you have, like when I was working for 2 people, it just sucks. My business sucks. On paper, it sucks. And I want to qualify so that I can unsuck it. Like, so that I can keep the business open, first of all. Help the client, second of all. Use the money as intended for the rent, utility. I mean, I still have clients. I still have utilities. I can't force the insurance companies to give me my money, you know. And how do you file it if you made money, you made a small amount of money, but you billed for several, you know, tens of thousands of dollars and you only received $600? Like, how do you say that when you're doing one of these grants? Like, this person's flaky. They just want money. We want to give it to somebody who's going to actually make money and make a living. Like, it's not really fair. And it's not like everybody is not getting selected. Everyone's not getting the same amount of money. What if you made low money last year and you had low paycheck last year because you can't hire somebody, but your liability insurance, your lease, your utilities are still the same, if not higher, than a year that you got more money. So that's what's kind of shady. But I don't really want to borrow money, but I want to keep the business open. Last week on Monday, I had like PMS, and I forget when I have PMS, as I didn't realize it till later. It's like going back in time, and so it's like I'm going back in time. It feels like 3 months of healing that I've done. When I have a period every month, it takes me like 3 months back. So every 1 month, so it's like 1 step forward, 3 steps back. That's like, it seems weird. It shouldn't be that. That sounds like I'm walking backwards. But but then when the period is over, I end up not having that setback. And I don't know how to explain it. I've explained it on here before. I broke these, or me and my partner broke these. Let's see if I can fix them. I had this talk before more than once, and it's really confusing to discuss this matter. It's just like, say you're being abused at work, and you learn how to, you can see that it's broken, that it broke off right here on the wire. And just solder. Unless that, if you just stick it in there. I'm just gonna stick it in there. Maybe the wire touching would help it. I don't want to get electrocuted. So you have a toxic workplace and you work with a counselor. The first month you're horrified. The second month, so you talk about it and you cry about it. The second month you start to learn how to build yourself back up because the job has stressed you out so much. And you lost your self-esteem, lost self-confidence if you even have it. Try to like build yourself up with the help of your therapist. And say the third month you take action. You decide, are you going to keep the job, you're going to quit the job, you're going to report this to the corporate office, are you going to write a letter and talk directly to your supervisor? What is the bullying? What is the toxicity? Is it another employee or what? And so so it's like if I had my period that fourth month or right after those 3 month sessions, it's like I start to be proactive, start to journal everything, document stuff, talk to employment counselor, get that stuff documented, look for jobs. And then it's like would have PMS, and I would be back on square one 3 months prior. And I'd be crying about the job. Oh my God, it's toxic. Oh my God, da 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 da. And it's like I had done nothing. So that would be the fourth month. And then the fifth month, so then that period would be over, and I'd go back to documenting everything, looking for another job, talking to the supervisor, talking to someone that's not the toxic person. And then the fifth month, it's like you're going back to the second month that you got the treatment. So you got over the crying, oh my God, it's a toxic place. Now you're now freaking out because you have no self-esteem, no self-confidence, and you're like, I'm miserable, I'm crummy. I let someone else dictate their feelings towards me. I let them dictate how I feel about myself. Ignoring a higher power, ignoring my loved ones and other people that don't feel that way. And then that becomes, I don't know, a week of bellyache about that and worried and tossed and turning, and the period's over and you go back. And since you're now got past that one crying toxic place, but then you had that first month of period, what did you learn that month? Oh, you got a couple job offers. Oh, they don't pay that much. Okay, now you have to look at the pros and cons. Like your health is one thing, how much is affecting your health, but you don't want to take a lower job, not be able to pay your rent, blah, 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 blah. Like, what are your other options? What are your other skills? Can you get skilled? Can you take some short-term classes? So then you're working with your therapist on that kind of stuff, and maybe joining a support group or a group class, reading books about the subject. And then, so that's how my life is, and it's like, it goes through that pattern. And to change gears kind of a lot, but a little bit, having my period tug on me, my mental, emotional state, my physical ability to do stuff. It's like, how and why is this so difficult? What I want to know is, why is it when I started dating, my self-employment went horribly. It was literally going up, 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 and then it whoosh, back to square one. The extreme negative income. I look at these Monday, I had my appointment Wednesday. Tuesday night, between Tuesday and Wednesday night, in the middle of the night, I had these feelings of, oh my God, I spent this time with these men dating, doing the online dating thing, working all these jobs for people, running, and that's kind of like, yeah, this is the high life. It's like, no, you working at a grocery store as a vendor, you're not even working at a store as an employee that gets benefits. You're doing vending, that's part-time. That used to be full-time. Used to have benefits, used to have vacation, sick pay, 401k, all that stuff. They try to do whatever they can to not do it. Why is it? Then I was busy. I think back at that time, sitting in the car at my lunch breaks, relaxing, reading a book, reading these love stories by Lori Wake. I used to read Karen Kingsbury. And then going to do the thing with dating, because I don't have women friends, where I'm able to go out. When I was going out before, just with the kids were invited to parties. We were rarely, the family was invited to a couple of dinners. The kids were invited to several parties. I wasn't very, like, once every 10 years, I think I get invited to a party, if even that. Or sometimes it would be like a communal party, like church. Every Wednesday after church, someone's decided to get married today. Like some kind of random, like, okay, let's put up some silver and white balloons after church, kind of. Like, you're not really invited. You're not getting an invitation unless they want to get um, unless they want the gift registry. So it's like taking advantage of being part of community, going out to movies, going out to Starbucks to sit and talk, going around and walk around parks. So I did a lot of stuff. And when I had to go to work, I went to work because I was on the clock. I had to clock in. I was doing for someone else more than I do for myself, including the men. I was doing it when the men wanted me to do something, I would do it. So what's really hard is to be like that and to see your self-employment be corrupt and to see, like, it's not like these, especially the man I was dating last year at this time, this person was not helping me. They had a couple of free tickets to the movies. I went twice, okay? Maybe another time that I didn't even offer to pay, which I could have. But I was just like, I'm actually probably did pay. I don't know. Most of the time I paid for my own food, like 99% of the time. If we even went somewhere, this guy got lazy, didn't want to go out of the house. So it was like, what does somebody do? The point is, you have community, companionship, friendship, love, dating, and you have money. And it's like, I threw away my job. I missed deadlines for my job. I didn't read the directions for my incentive grant. I failed at it. I failed at this. And I learned how, after being a single parent for 15 and a half years, I learned how to go out, how to meet men on the internet. Some people said some creepy things and I didn't want to talk to them. And I could say last summer was pretty fun. I started exercise again after having that car accident in 2014. I was on the bike. Sometimes it was a nervous because that guy I was with was like, everyone said he was toxic. It was a nervous energy inside that I couldn't sit still. But I did have a lighter body. Didn't sleep very much. Had a lot of nervous anxiety around life and everything in general. Sometimes too, with the sun getting bigger like it is now until June 21st, I feel intense as each day that goes by, each full moon that goes by. It's like a full moon. It's like I steadily get more anxious with the longer days, the birds chirping, the pollen, and then it's like a full moon, and I'm just like, boom, full moon and on my period, boom, and I'm like this, can't sleep at night, tired in the daytime, eating, my stomach growls in between eating, and then I'm still like overweight. So it's like, what if I just ate continuously? What if I just fasted continuously? Like, I don't know what to do with my body anymore. But to put it in another light, what would I do if I just paid attention to money and I had gone 15 and a half years? You know, some people do this when they're younger. They don't want a relationship. They don't want kids if they do have a relationship, because they're like, I'm going to school, graduate school, going to get a job. And then they're like, oh my God, I'm 39 and I'm infertile, or my spouse has no sperm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you see that, but it's like, well, good thing they have a house and a good insurance, and they can do IVF, they can do adoption, you know. So it's like, maybe that's a good thing. I had my kids when I was younger, and I accidentally joined you. I had nuts earlier, and they often make me cough, but usually not that much. To look at it, money, people say it doesn't cause happiness, and they're talking, rich people will write on Twitter and stuff, Instagram, they're living in this huge mansion, have like acres and acres of rolling hills and personal freaking helicopter pads and full size Olympic sized swimming pools and indoor pools and basketball courts, and then driving, those pastors driving the Rolls Royces and all this stuff. Like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness, I'm depressed, or someone did too many drugs and they killed themselves, like all this stuff. And but you're like, when you know how many, or you're on the brink. You're like always in debt. You can't find a job. If you find a job, you need 10 of them. So you're working literally like 20, 21 hours a day. When I was doing eBay more often, even if I was only sleeping 3 or 4 hours a night, I was still up at night accepting offers for people so that I can, because sometimes they don't pay immediately. So if you accept an offer like at 3 a.m., they might wake up and see their phone at 7 a.m. and pay you. And then you got a job at 10:30, you're already to the post office with another package you got ready the night before. You're already going to go into the, into your inventory and pack the next package up. So you can get them both out that day. So you can get paid that day and get out that day. And since I'm not a reseller, I don't make money off it. I'm lucky if it even covers the fees, which I pay several $100s a year. I might downgrade my account. But, so you get money, working too much, going 15 and a half years. So I talked about those young people that said they might want to wait so they could push themselves up in the socioeconomic. Then you have people like me that it's like enough's enough. I was an old soul. 21 was too late. 22 was too late. I should have been already having kids. It's like I was definitely an old soul. And being disowned by a family and all this crap. So it's similar as the coronavirus. I see people volunteering, people being called out of retirement to go work in hospitals. Like, I'm a doctor. I'm a physician. Been one for over 5 years. I registered to be a volunteer. Nobody called me. Nobody contacted me. They said they were organizing a team here. They're begging for people to go to the hospital. I have not got an email. I did all my tests. I verified my identity. I think they're supposed to send me a t-shirt and a name badge. I never got anything. Like, I never even got an email that said that. They said that when you do all your assessments and your tests, whatever training programs you had to do, that it would automatically be uploaded to somebody who's coordinating it, so that they could see that you've done the requirements. So I've done all the requirements that I need to do. I have not got anything, no emails. I got 3 emails asking my availability, if I'm still available. I said yes to each one. Some of them said, what is your availability? They did not put up. They said they want to know days and times, and I could not get it to do that, only yes or no. So maybe I used my phone or my iPad, it didn't work. So I can check into that. But it's like, well, I want to get paid. It's like, I'm going to have to go to a hotel. I'm going to have to get my own food. I potentially have to bring my own PPE. And it's like, if I could volunteer to do this job, why can't I do this job as an employee with or without coronavirus? So that's what's shady. It's like when I was at the hospital. Oh yeah, come on in. You can come in and work for free. It's like, can I apply for a job here? All these jobs I qualify, have education, have certification. No, you don't qualify because you're an ND, not an ND, or not a CMA, or not an RN, or all these things. Like, well, I know how to do all this stuff. I can do all. I have an office a mile and a half down the hill from you, or less. And it seems like more because it's straight uphill. I'm like, I could do all this stuff in my office. I don't intubate, but I know how to do a bag and mask. And for the neonatal resuscitation program, you do have to insert tubes into a baby's throat. And I've taken that class at least 3, if not 4 times. And yes, we only use dolls, but we do have to learn how to intubate that way, which is different. I don't know. I haven't done that with adults. Maybe that's what I should do respiratory therapy. But we definitely have that stuff in our naturopathic midwifery bags in Oregon. We have the intubation stuff for children, the laryngoscope, or all of the tubes, the oxygen, and the bag and mask. We have it all in our cars. I don't have it, but the midwife you're with, because I haven't had to be by myself, they have it in their cars ready to go. You can't think when it's like that. If the baby needs a bag and mask, there's the plain one. You can learn that in CPR. We have to do that all the time. And then putting the tube down so that you can get the oxygen in the lungs and putting it in the right spot. And I feel like it's different. I imagine the tubes on TV they're talking about. I imagine the big gray tubes that they have to numb your throat, put you to sleep, and just like shove that thing down, and put you on IV nutrition. That's what my mind's imagining. But it's not just like a oxygen cannula mask or tubes coming out your nose, or a mask. But I maxed out my money. I would have continued education. I maxed out my loans. I could have done something else. And what do you know when you start medical school as a naturopath? They tell you you could work in a hospital, but you would have to do 3 years of residency. They don't count. The hospitals don't count your 3 years. The 3 years of residency is basically working under another doctor. So you work under another doctor for 3 years in a clinic. It's called a residency. So you get a certificate that said you've completed a residency. But what's the difference between someone like me that's worked for myself for over 5 years without any supervision, like treated patients and administered medications and done the physical exam? Like I've done it all on my own, and I can attest to myself not having needed to call for support. And I'm just not saying I won't refer you to a specialist or whatever. So that's where I am right now. Is like, what the heck, what the heck. I have a lot of billing to do. My boyfriend wants me to do everything all while he's gone, and I seriously don't get 3:30, 3 o'clock's pushing it. My body and my brain does not start. I don't know, it's always my windows like where the sun comes in right at 3:30. My body and brain, it is really hard for me to do work. Anything. Get out of bed, not eat, exercise till after 3:30. 3 o'clock's pushing it if I'm trying to rush. But the stress level gets so high that it's grinding teeth, it's anger, it's stress eating, it's horrible. And yesterday at 3:30 I had a webinar, another one at 4, so I was like doing 2 for a couple minutes, but one was all blurry, and then I finished the last one, and it went over at least 10 minutes. And now that ended at like 5:15. So my partner was already home, and no, I didn't do my language, and no, I didn't do my billing, and no, I didn't finish that chart, and no, I didn't even start the other 2 charts. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I always thought of myself as a morning person. I always thought of myself as waking up 5:30, 6 o'clock. The birds chirp at 4, which sucks when you get home from work after 2 a.m. The birds chirp at 4 in the middle of summer. I'm up. The sky is light over on that side on the east. And I feel like part of that is just being a student in so many years, for 17 years of college. I feel like, yeah, you have to be there at 7:30 a.m. Like, you drop the kids off at daycare at 7. Yeah, it means you have to leave before 7. You have to leave at 6:40, the latest. Drive downtown, rush hour. You were to leave if you left at 6:15. Well, daycare didn't open at 7. I was late once to drop my kids out at the park, and they had to walk. There was a babysitter. Oh, they stopped having the daycare. There's a babysitter that lived behind the school, but there was a park, so he couldn't. They went to drop the kids. I don't know what happened. I think I took the wrong road. I went to the school instead of the people's house. And the road, you'd have to backtrack and go all the way down and around. So I just dropped them at the park, told them to walk to the park and go through the fence and find their house. I was like, that was really bad. I told one of my resident doctors that when they looked at me like I was like some kind of pervert or something. I was like, no, that's not pervert. It's not neglect. It's not child abuse. It's a park. It's open. Dusk till dawn. Dawn till dusk. The coronavirus, same thing. Talked about trying to volunteer. I tried to volunteer. Don't get me wrong. I put my name out there and I did all the training. I did it fast. And I'm waiting for the delivery. I have the dating and companionship, losing my business, working crappy jobs, not doing a good job, losing my mind. When you sleep 3 hours a night, 7 days a week, you lose your freaking mind. It's so stressful. And what if coronavirus, you're a nurse or a doctor and you're making at least $40 an hour, if not $200 an hour, and you die, that money's gonna go to your family, your retirement accounts, your all that stuff. Yeah, but so there's that pull between let's lay off the, it sucks to be in my career. People are doing work and charting and fall asleep in the bed doing charting and doing midwifery. Then you're up. You're not even just doing charting. You're up delivering babies. You're working. You got a patient at 9 a.m. the next morning and it's 4 a.m. and you still haven't birthed the baby yet. It's like, I guess, or caught the baby. It's like, where do you get to somebody trying to tell you to work 9 to 5? It's like, why don't you work my hours? Like, why don't you work 3:30 to 10 at night and then come home? Like, we'll come home and sleep, eat before you go to work, take your meds around your work schedule. Like, it's always the stress of trying to conform to society and trying to conform to men when you're dating. They try to want to boss women around no matter what. And they try to think the women is being bossy or naggy or seductive, trying to make them do something. Like, I ain't doing crap on purpose. I'm just being myself, right? And if I request something or talk about something, most of the time in the past, the men have just blown it off. But they can ask 100% of things, and I'm most likely, oh, okay, I'll do that for you. So I lose not just my income, I lose myself. And I hate it. I really strongly dislike it. It's not like a traditional, oh, look, I'm got long hair, I'm 21, I have a thin body, oh, I'm married with somebody, oh, I got kids with this person, I'm in love, this person, I'm nursing a baby at home and taking care of the house, I have enough house that's not holes in the wall, I have my baby, I have a kitchen that's clean, it's not just clean because I clean it, it's clean because you're not having rats and mice and roaches all over the place and water leaks. It's like, it's not like these men have ever taken care of me. It was always me forking over whatever I had. It was me going into debt. It was me having had in the past my dad helping. So that's when I'm mad, because these people think they're gonna be like traditional caveman, drag woman. I drag woman. I get you pregnant. You have a baby. You nurse my baby. I hunt. I gather. You cook food, pancakes, syrup. Like, it's like being pulled out of hair. Like, we move, try moving, let's go. Like, it's like, then you have this protector at night. They have like these medieval movies where they have the big furs on their beds as blankets. It's like you have your children and your protector and the person who brings home the beef or whatever food you eat, like providing, and you're providing children and offspring, you're providing love. It's like a vagina. Like, it's like warm, moist, cozy. It has a certain smell that's unique to everybody, and it's like it's like, it's hard when you're having to work and you have your kids from another guy who never paid a dime of child support. So you're supporting your kids all alone, and you're bending over backwards, and you're losing your career. And the only thing that's socially acceptable is, oh, I have this job at Pizza Hut, so I have to go now. That's socially acceptable. Oh, yes, her employer, she's going to get mad. She better go. You better leave now because you're going to be late. Blah, 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 blah. So change gears. Having a disease and dying, your money, boom, whether you're a volunteer or not. It feels like, what does it matter if you're a volunteer and you die of the virus or you're getting paid? Maybe you just want to avoid it. Work from home, right? And then you have down here that dating community, going to church. Going to church screwed me over with work in school. Doing all those activities made my grades, made my income, missing work to go volunteer. They try to say we'll go to hell if we don't volunteer. It's like, where's everybody else? Well, I'm the only one here. At least those people have regular jobs that they've had for years. People know they're Christian. They can take their freaking vacation hours. And it's like, why is someone, I just got a job the week before, I always have to tell them that I have to miss a week because of Vacation Bible School, and my kids went to the daycare, and I missed the field trips, and they had to go in the baby room, and or you could try to drive out to the mountain and hike up Multnomah Falls to try to find a group, which may or may not be there. It's stupid. Like, I got suckered into so many things, so that's my problem. I have an idea in one of my very last posts on my website blog, www.tower-of-health.com. I had done it in 2018, I believe, 2019, I think, instead. Valentine's Day 2019. I wrote something about love, and I was still looking for love, and I was still learning by books, because that's when you're isolated and you're alone, you don't have relatives that love you. You can't teach your kids about love. You can't. If you don't, like, contagion of a disease, you can contagion love and kindness and peace and charity. You can do that. So here's what I wrote. Thursday 4/9/2020. I had an idea while I went for a walk yesterday, and it was you've seen my videos from 2019, maybe 2018, where I talk about love stories, and I created stories, and I try to talk to you about them so I could save that, because me writing this or typing it or saying it in my head, it disappears. I feel like the video would probably be the best way to preserve it, and I would like to fill in the gaps and write a book. Love as Medicine, story where Dr. Mia does a Zoom video course about love, and all different people join the group class. Then like church married people. Then like church. So in churches, that's just an example. You have some old people. You have a couple minorities. If it's a white church, you have these different. You have single people. You have kids. You have these different groups. So then like church, married people. Show an example. Help strengthen. Or the group helps strengthen their relationship. Young, pretty, single people. They learn. They love, they share, they meet up with other participants. You have the 40-something group, divorced individuals, see each other, lots of baggage. So it becomes kind of like a dating or social website. So, and that's Dr. Mia, she gets $150 for a 40-minute session for each individual, and $75 sliding scale for low income or some other discount. She looks at herself and so later on, she looks at herself and realizes she's making $5,000 a day income 7 days a week due to following the thoughts. After training two Asian people, one woman her age, another trans male to female that's younger, so like a 23-year-old, we'll write 23-year-old. These are employees. She trained to do the same thing she does. So I didn't talk about what the love thing is. She started with a blog post talking about love. I just drew a heart. So there's 4 main things. And when she does these Zoom videos, she'll have a script to stay on track. She'll have like, okay, this is the topic, bullet point A, B, C, blah, blah, blah. And another subtopic. So she might only get to the bullet point 1, or she might get through the whole script. So she has enough for 40 minutes, and everything she does, she still builds on this class 1, class 2, class 3. But if she only gets here in class 1, the next week's session, or if it's twice a week, it continues right there. So I wrote this morning, Inner Hearts, Communication, Spirit, Universe, God, heart, so love, adventure of life, and uncertainty. She did several YouTube videos on this. She wrote a 120-page book and sold it digitally for $19.99, and wrote poet songs as she needed to learn to sing. So I didn't remember everything that I talked about, that I thought about in my mind on the walk yesterday. So I probably will go on my walk now. I really want to do billing and stick it in the mailbox, but the mail came at like 11:45. I can try. I can do one and mail it. Anyways, so she's got this idea. God, I'm like stuttering. So when I wrote those, this is a manifestation. This is my way of attracting from the universe. When I did the love series that I was talking about, I had a stack of library books. I had a stack of DVDs. I told my son, go get a DVD one day at the library. He just pulls one off the shelf and says, here. It was about 2 males in love. And he's like looking at me like, it's like, I don't care. You chose it. You didn't look at it. I'm not judging you. I'm taking it home and watching it because I wanted to see. I saw that movie with the Asian and her concubine, or the Asian and her handmaiden fell in love, and I don't know what happened to the man. Like, I saw every type of. I didn't really see polyamory. If you're chosen to marry somebody like a king and a queen, but you love someone else, I don't know how that is. I watch Excalibur. So I'll look at that. We're watching Game of Thrones. There's all these little things in that movie that's giving me a different perspective. I said it's a European medieval style Dark Ages thing, and my partner's like, no, this is based on another planet. I'm like, dude, they have British accents. They have clothing like kings and queens. They have castles and horses. Like, they have swords. Like, this is not even like Star Wars with lightsabers and they're out in outer space, like, riding horses or riding animals that are made up science fiction. Like, this is not. The people's names are European. If black people or Asian people made that up, I don't know how it would be. Because Asians also had a similar type medieval. Anyways, so I'm going to look a little bit in media in my books. I haven't done a love story in a long time. I think it's time for me to download. It should be time for me to download a love story. So she keeps it simple and has these 4 points. The first one, inner hearts. I don't know why I wrote that. I wrote it first thing in the morning so I did not forget. Inner hearts. Communication. That came up because me and my friend here in town keep having this communication thing where we're talking about that subject, and it keeps popping up as a subject of our meetings and with counselors and stuff. Spirit, universe, God, and we keep learning these things. Spirit, universe, God is like a love of your spiritual love, unconditional love that you have for nature, peace, love that you have for God. If you believe in higher power, that unconditional God loves you. You killed and raped somebody, you still have a loving God. He doesn't love your behavior, but you have someone to ask for forgiveness. And that's my belief. So these are going to be opinions. So what this is an idea that formed in my head, and I knew that I needed another story to add to my love story. So the Dr. Mia in this, I'll add her partner, and Dr. Mia is me, I'll add her partner, and I'll write a little story. But I might actually, I will probably mimic art imitating life, life imitating art. I keep having bumblebees coming to the window. I'll meld these two together to manifest a change, to manifest a law of attraction, to attract love, companionship. Be grateful. We saw on the Today Show the people that died. Was it today or last night's news? One of the news programs. The people that died. They say, oh, so many people die in the city. They showed the people said, my husband just died. Or this person just became a nurse last fall. This and this and this. And they died for coronavirus. You know? So there's love in death and in missing somebody. Someone said, I miss her voice the most. And it's like heartfelt for me right now. And watching this medieval show and watching Excalibur, I showed that to my kids. I'm like, are you kidding? Did I even show that to my kids? Because all it was about incest and children born upon incest. And that's like, I'm like, dude, this is very similar. Game of Thrones is a very similar story to some of the stuff that, like, you're watching TV, it's fiction, you see people in their bedrooms with their prostitutes and this and that. You read the Bible, you got the same freaking thing. Like, you get this, I mean, the Bible is very similar to these shows. It's like funny that my partner likes one out of 3 of those things, but I'm like, they're all, even in Egyptian and Jewish people having multiple wives and children out of wedlock and this and that, and sleeping with Sarah and Abraham having a husband sleep with her handmaiden and getting pregnant, and I was like, who's the dowry, or not dowry, who's the inheritance going to go to? Firstborn son, oh crap, you know, all this stupid stuff. Cain and Abel, one of them killing each other, like all this stuff, and you see that the TV show, they're all in front of each other's face, committing all these crimes in front of each other's face, making up their own laws, children are watching, the whole town is like, oh my god. It's like, you see these funny things, like, oh, that's how it'd be like if we don't have TV. But we'd be standing there too. It was like we're watching the reenactment of something that probably happened on the old days. We're watching it on the TV. It's entertaining to us, just like it was in real life. People watch people. I mean, I don't necessarily want to watch somebody get hung for a crime, you know. But it's like, watch it on TV. It's not like It's not like, oh look, someone's getting hugged today. Let's go downtown and look at it. I mean, that's different. In TV, you're like, oh, that just happened in front of my face. I should have covered my eyes. But I'm gonna work on. I need a digital copy of a book. In real life, I need to do Zoom meeting or a Doxy Meet group class for my clinic, and I need to just talk about different things and get that anxiety, that energy that I have with the sun and the moon and the green grass and the pollen in the air and the ducks flying over my window, which I'm going to write that in my thing. I looked out the window this morning and I saw a couple of ducks flying across right above my head, like a pair, like a male and a female. This is a very long video. I don't want to go for my walk now, but I think I will. I'm not going to worry about my charting and my billing right now. I will do it, but I will do it. I'll see if I can do it digitally or something. I got to get this video off here. It's going to take memory. I'm really hungry. I don't know why I feel so weird. But this idea is getting me kind of pumped too. And one thing I like about the birds, another thing that I want to tell myself on a mantra is don't let anybody crush your joy. Because I'll have this excitement. As you know, I make a lot of videos where I'm chit-chatting and thinking out loud and getting discombobulated with my thoughts. I don't have a lot of people that will tolerate that in real life. Whether my cousin I tried to call the other day and she just was like, let me talk to you later. Blah. Please. She didn't want to support me or talk to me. Okay, fine. She's home with kids. Probably the first time that she's had to be home with her kids and work from home. Those people need to protect themselves. They don't need to hear my drama, my crying. There's a bird in this person's bumper of their car. It's really weird. It's crawling into the crack or into the opening of the front bumper. Or flying up there. I get it. I'm like, I'm never talking to them again. I went to the meeting. I was babbling on about something. I feel like an idiot. I don't get help a lot. So this also helps me to share my ideas that someone around the world might want to listen to. They can shut me off. They can listen to my shorter videos. I can listen to myself talk and share a verbal and a video. Like a diary. Like not a manuscript. What is it? Is it what they call a manuscript? You write your own story, autobiography. So my mantra, don't let other people steal your joy. And the worst thing you want to know about yourself is what other people think about you. Peace. It's www.tower-of-health.com, and I will use that announcement as an accountability partner to get my butt, even if I write 3 sentences on my blog. So keep your eye on that. I would like to add the video link for the telehealth in the classes, and just realize that there's probably way more I can do with my medical license than just sit in an office where I'm getting 50% because the owner's getting 50%, and I'm seeing patients face to face, and I'm wearing a white coat. I don't mind that. I don't want them getting 50%, but if they're getting a percentage or whatever, it's like I need a space. I need to have nice clothes on. I need to have my stethoscope around my neck. I'm not even getting that right now, so I need to think outside the box.